Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Tony's Temple. I'm your host Tony, and my guest today, he is in the corporate Halo team, is an esport for Halo Infinite. His team is Microsoft Team Blue Screen of Death, and his plan is to go to Kansas City to participate in his next match. This is my buddy Romin. Romin?
How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, well, I met him back in like community college years. I think we had chemistry together?
Chemistry.
We had chemistry.
Yeah.
And chemistry class.
Yeah. Both struggling in unison, so.
Yeah, good time, man. Good time. I'm kind of surprised that I passed, but that's
there's no way I would have passed without the squad. So.
No, it was Mitch and I forgot the other.
There's one more guy. We
Yeah.
both don't know who that is.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's the subject for another day. I'm really blessed to have him around. You know, we used to hang out like a lot back in like college years, but time's grown, people doing their own thing. But now we're all back, so we're here. I like Roman because he shares like a lot of like common views that I have. Like I think we're kind of conservative. Would you agree with that, or do you think you're more liberal?
Yeah, definitely conservative. I mean, there's a lot of ideas that you can both be able to project in society, and the other ones that you might have to filter out. So having a good balance of both, it's tough.
It's self-awareness more than anything else.
Yeah,
you can be conservative, but if you're not being self-aware and you're saying some really weird stuff, and then like you're not catching it, that's where it becomes kind of like a little bit, not good.
Yeah, tough. Yeah, exactly. What can you do?
Mm-hmm.
So.
But okay, so let's start with today's topic. I kind of want to delve into like the idea of like a red flag when it comes to like relationships. And the reason why I kind of want to talk about red flag is from my personal experience. Whenever you talk to certain women, if you tell them, "Hey, I want this in a woman," for example, I want a woman that can cook. I want a woman that can potentially bear children, be supportive. But what would happen is women would commonly respond back saying like, "This is a red flag that a man wants a woman to cook."
Toxic masculinity. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
misogyny. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much like a way to like shut people down, shut specifically men down for
shame
what they
language.
want.
Yeah, shame language.
Yeah. So what's your thought on like red flags and?
Yeah. So what my experience is kind of like a hybrid, right? So I've grown up in America, but a lot of my cultural background is Middle Eastern, so Iran, for instance. Right. So I've taken kind of the best of both worlds to where I was raised to where I was taught that dating, don't date till very late in life, kissing girls, stuff like that. So a lot of my experience is kind of later in life, and I didn't have the luxury of kind of having a high school girlfriend or something like that. So, those experiences I think prepare people for a lot of heartbreak early on in life, which is good because being able to understand your emotions early, it'll help you regardless.
Right.
And it'll help you avoid any issues later on in life, I believe, because for instance, like let's say your high school girlfriend doesn't like you anymore, wants to go hang out with another guy. Okay. It's the smallest form of like, let's say, cheating, right? Okay. Not really cheating, but she's checking out her options, right? Ooh. So the biggest red flag for me is when this is recently, right? I went on a date. The first thing the girl said to me was, she was actually texting other guys during our date, which was really funny. But she was still very like
in tune with you.
She was still wanting the date, but the thing is like. The biggest red flag for me was when she was saying, "You better not kiss me during our date." I was like, okay, I won't do that because, I'm a good guy, right? So the other thing is after the date, I found out that she was like, "You should have kissed me."
What?
I was like, wait, you know how bad that is for a guy to like do something without your permission? You know how fucked that can get a guy?
Right.
And even in today's age, if you were to just complain or anything like that, it's over for me. Like my career.
Right.
For what? Just like some girl that I met on, Hinge or something like that.
Right.
It's not worth it. There's a lot of experiences that just aren't worth it for guys. And that's okay. But it makes it very difficult to take dating seriously because for a lot of guys, your time is your biggest value here.
Exactly.
So being able to appropriately distribute not only your time, but a lot of men's value is in what they can do with that time.
Exactly.
So on the side, like having different types of like investment strategies, like I love crypto, for instance.
Yeah.
It's a good way to make money on the side, and it's easy money if you know what you're doing.
Right.
Also, yeah, having a job helps too. But yeah, back to red flags. I mean, I would say, women that don't know what they want is a big red flag to me, because when you go on a date, to me, that's saying that you want something. You're not just looking for a dinner or something like that. In most cases, it can be. You're just looking for someone to, I just want a nice meal today, and that's cool. But I
don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool.
It's not cool. Right. But it's also on the onus of the man to know and vet the girl you're dating enough to know that this is her intention, know? Exactly. Because I think it's also, as a man, you can tell when a woman wants to take you seriously. Right. And other times it's when a woman doesn't want to take you seriously.
But it's not that simple. Like, even you said, like, you went out on a date with that girl, she said, I don't want to kiss.
Right.
But then, like, secretly, like, she did, like, all these, like, Jedi mind tricks, and like, and sometimes women would, like, say one day, oh, I want to be more than just friends, I want us to date, but in reality, she just wants you for a dinner. Sometimes it's hard to, like, differentiate these things. And like you were saying earlier, it takes a lot of experience just to, like, get familiarized with these kind of things, and the kind of way I look at dating is, like, dating is just, it's work. It's work. It's the same thing as work, Because, like, okay, look, if I want to get into a field of IT, right? If I want to make myself successful, I have to put in the effort of getting a college degree and doing all this stuff to get what I want, right? Same thing goes with dating, You can't go into the dating world blind, not putting any effort into yourself to be a suitable mate for the other person, and expect the world to give you, like, the perfect ideal woman when you've done nothing with your time. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, I think at the same time is you're assuming that all guys are established and have everything figured out before they go on dates. Where honestly, a lot of guys, I would say a lot of guys don't. I mean, you can see a lot of broke guys go on dates, and sometimes they have girls pay for them and stuff like that. But it all depends on I'm not going to say it's a finesse, but it all depends on the amount of effort and really what you're looking out of that relationship. Like, I would never go into dating a woman seriously and be broke. It just doesn't work, because women don't like broke guys. Let's just be honest.
Because like I said, okay, so you have to know what women want in a man and be that, right? And the same goes for women. Women have to understand what men want, and if you want to be with a man, you kind of have to do that, not by force. But, where do you want to be when you're 60 years old? Mm-hmm. Do you want to be alone with your cat, or do you want to be with, like, a partner? Yeah. Just, like, from my personal experience, like, even just, like, housework. When you have another person to help you around the house, just to, live through life or whatever it is, life is easier with, like, two people. And if you ever watched this show called Lost, have you seen Lost?
I've seen it a few episodes, but I haven't actually, like, finished the series.
So the reason why I brought this up is, like, human beings, we are communal creatures. We're not lone wolves. Mm-hmm. Like, you need people to, like, cook the fish, some people to catch the fish, you need some people to take care of the medication. Life is not meant to be lived by yourself. And when you start to realize, like, oh shit, do I want to be by myself when I'm 60 and 80 alone, or do I want to find, like, a suitable partner that will make my life easier and, like, bring more value to my life? And that's why I was saying with, like, it's how it's related to work, because work is very important to, like, everyone's lives, and so is a relationship. And the reason why every time I talk about my podcast, I talk about relationship, because I know the value of a relationship, and I want to see the world better. Like, I don't want to attack women, I don't want to attack men. I want to see, like, okay, we're heading towards a better relational generation, but what I'm seeing is the opposite. I'm seeing we're not doing very good.
Yeah, no, I mean, divorce rates are very high, and then you have to ask why, right? Because, and I think that, and it's very controversial, right? Because I think that a lot of the issue is that there's a lot of independence for women, and it's, like I said, very controversial, but I think that relationships work better when there's structure. And right now we have a system to where it's 50-50, which is good. But a lot of people don't realize that men and women aren't the same, right? So we can't put the same expectations on women than we are for men, right? So I know one of the leading issues here was why are women getting paid less than men? Okay. Then you have to break that down, right? Why are they getting paid less? Right. A lot of women they take off for, let's say, pregnancy,
maternity leave,
maternity leave, right. Yeah, and which means guy has to work. So, and then it comes down to also there is a very big study on the gender gap. I can definitely provide the resources for that, but one of the biggest things is that agreeableness, right? So men are willing to negotiate for higher wages, right? You're not paying me enough. If you don't pay me more, I'm out of here.
Right.
They're willing to have those conversations, but maybe not so much for women. I know a few women right now actually that are complaining to me all the time about how I'm not getting paid more. I'm doing the same work. But every time I say, hey, are you going to your boss and just like arguing? Like, put your job on the line. Fight for the wage that you want.
Right.
It's always met with, I'll do it next week, or I'll do it next time we talk.
Right. So the thing is, like, nobody's forcing you to do this job. Nobody is saying like, hey, here's $7, take it or leave it, and you choose to accept it. That's your
That's
prerogative.
on you.
That's on you.
You put the value on your own time, and that's the biggest thing is that I think a lot of men are not willing to settle for what they don't think their time is worth. So, and that's when it comes back to like time is money, right? So, it's a very, very interesting world that we live in now, because I thought it would have been easier years ago, but. It's just dating's different, man.
It's completely different, man. And to go back to what you were saying with the pay gap, men tend to work more overtime, right?
True.
Men tend to work for more dangerous jobs.
Correct. Yep.
Right. And what you're saying, men are they tend to be more aggressive when it comes to like how much they're asking for when it comes to like salary.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So with all that said, the gender pay gap is not real, and like we've been having this conversation for like years, where people say, "Oh, the gender pay gap is a thing," and like it's not, and it is shown in the numbers.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. You're always gonna have people that argue for and people that argue against, but you just gotta look at the studies, man. If you look at the numbers, it goes past. There's like 20 different variables that goes into it, so it's not as simple as saying, "Oh, female, male."
Right.
More, I deserve more. You deserve more.
Right.
Because then you have to look at occupation, right? Engineering, STEM jobs, right? Engineering, maybe drawing a blank. Technical work. Let's say janitors, stuff like that. I never see a woman janitor or anything like that. And that's the thing. Women are the most educated right now.
Right.
Women are, predominantly lead the nursing environment. These jobs, they're led by women. But that's the thing. Men search more hands-on jobs that are a little more labor intensive. Yeah. So that's the thing. If you want equality, we need to start seeing a little bit more women in those fields.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Like, okay, men are willing to make more money and going through more hardship than women, right? And I've seen this TikTok of this woman saying like, you know what, this fucking sucks. I don't want to be digging coals and making money. This shit fucking sucks. Why do women want to do this? I'd rather stay home and like chill out, take care of my family, and like this is what I value. And you also have to understand that men and women value two totally different things.
Of course, yeah.
Right? Men value status. So if men value more status, they tend to take more jobs and take more risk and do more things to gain that status. And I'm not saying that women don't value status. I'm saying like that's not their drive compared to men.
Oh yeah.
Right? Women are more like emotional, more like caring for other people, and like that's why you see a lot of like women going for like teaching jobs.
Yep.
And like it's more fulfilling in that way. And I'm being very careful with my word, because I have been told when I say stuff like this, I'm misogynistic.
Yeah.
Oh, you just want women to do like less easy job and pay less. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying like if women are like, if all of a sudden the role is switched and women are doing all the coal mining, all the bricklaying, all the hard labor shit, they're gonna complain.
Well, at the end of the day,
right?
They're the ones choosing this career. We're not exactly telling them to go do whatever. They have the opportunity to do whatever the job they want. They have the equality.
Right.
But they just choose to do more, I'm not going to say easier jobs, but more
it's just different.
Stress-free jobs and stuff like that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
if I'm a man, right? If I have the option to choose like less laborious job, and
Yeah.
like I would totally fucking do it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, women have the privilege to do that, and then like, they're like, nah, I'd rather be men. I'd rather like bust my ass and stay overtime and like, you know, demand all these things that men have, but I don't want to pay for all the consequences that comes with being a man.
Who wouldn't want to pick that? But I think that for most guys realize that if they want to achieve certain goals, you know, if you want a family, if you want to be able to provide, if you want, you know, the luxuries of life, you're not going to get it with a low paying job. It just doesn't work like that.
Right.
So the onus is on, you know, men to one up themselves, and that's really what divides them at that point. But I digress. I mean, if we're going back to red flags, I mean, definitely, like, you know.
So what are some red flags when it comes to women in your perspective? And like to follow up on that later, I want you to also answer as well. What are some red flags that women should look out for in men? You know,
I mean, if we're being honest, I don't like women with high body counts, and that's the thing,
dude. Oh my God, yes! Finally, somebody said
it. I assume it's a general consensus, but I know a lot of guys that just don't care.
Right.
But at the same time, it comes back to your self-worth, right? Are you only dating to have fun? Is this just something to pass the time? I know a lot of people that just have sex because they're depressed. You know, they have nothing better to do.
Right.
So, you know, just have sex. But what they don't realize is for men as well, I mean, the more people you have sex with, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's making you less sensitive to an actual relationship, so that when you do have something real that comes your way, you don't handle it as delicately as you would a hookup, right?
Right.
And I think that's a lot of the issues that we see in a lot of men is, right, they can't differentiate between this is a girl I want to take serious. What am I willing to do to get this girl, and what am I willing to sacrifice to kind of maintain a healthy relationship? So
right. So to answer your question, I'm trying to figure out how to word this without sound like a jerk.
Like a jerk, it's okay.
When men, like, there's two options when it comes to dating, right? Do you want to date the girl, or do you want to marry the girl?
Yep.
Right. So if you just want to date a girl, I don't give a fuck what your body count is. I'm fuck anything that has a pulse.
Really?
Right.
Okay.
I'm just saying. But like, do I want to marry a girl that has like a high body count, and like, you know, invest my seed, my DNA into this person who potentially could have, like, you know, a different baby daddy? You know, and it goes back to like this caveman like idea, like you know whenever cat, like they do their business, they claw, and then like they put sand over the the stuff. Well, they do that because their ancestor, like the original OG cat, they did that, and apparently that stuck within their DNA, and it got passed down to, you know, generation to generation, where they instinctively know to do this. So same thing, same application goes to human, right? So caveman, Unga Bunga days, right? If a man is with a woman and he knows that woman is sleeping around with other cavemen, he runs into the chance of having his mate with a baby that does not belong to him. He end up raising it, right? So that runs to the risk. So like with that, like, men instinctively know, like, hey, this is not cool. And to bring it back to the modern time, if you know that a woman has like a lot of body count, like what does that say? You know, it says that, like, okay, I am having a difficult time attaching to one mate, right? And I don't care how dangerous it is to potentially get pregnant, get STDs, and, you know, I can't be okay with being by myself. So it goes deeper than that, but like, I'm just scratching the surface level.
Right, and then it comes back to what both genders value, right? Right. And men value low body count. Like, men value loyalty, but purity. That's why there's a big saying on women holding her virginity. I know in my own culture, there's a lot of situations to where the parents vet. Think arranged marriages, right? Right. Before you start dating a girl, there's a formal meeting with the parents. There's like technically rules set in place to where if you're going to date my daughter or my son, these are the expectations. Right. And while we've grown apart from that, there's a few parts of that I actually admire, because then you have a relationship built on structure and family. Right. And those are the most important parts of, I think, having a healthy marriage, because family will keep the relationship alive. And that's one thing I don't see at all in American culture and American
totally
dating is that often you see people disconnected from family.
Right.
Maybe, they're resentful, they're jealous. A lot of families break apart, but that's the biggest thing, man. If the biggest red flag for me is is a woman's family. If you come from a broken home, it's usually a telltale sign of how those values are passed on to you. Not all the time, right? You could find an outlier to where you have a woman raised in a rough home, maybe grown up in poverty. But then you turn around, she's a doctor, she's very successful, she finds a high earning man. That's great. She broke the cycle. Great for her. But most of the time it's a huge dictator on how she ends up, I guess, being. Because I've dated girls, right, that, and I hate to be right, that it's my own experience, but I've dated girls that have cheated on me, and then you kind of look at the background, right? The family had the same thing. Mom cheated on dad cheated on mom, and then they get
she
married.
She put on infinite health and max damage. She pretty much cheated on you.
Yeah. God mode.
God mode.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those unfortunate things, but it's a telltale sign of kind of where things will head. And that's the thing. Like for most guys, we're very picky about our time. So if I see you're not very polite with your parents, if you say fuck you dad, fuck you mom,
bruh,
that's
a big red
that's
flag.
big for me.
Red flag.
Because that's how you were raised,
Right.
and I won't say anything at the time. So here's the difference between dating a girl and then marrying a girl.
See?
Right?
You see what I'm saying now?
Right. So if I were to be on a date, fuck you mom, fuck you dad, I hate you guys, I'll smash. But taking you seriously,
that's what I'm saying.
Probably not.
See, that's what I was saying with the whole body count too. Like I don't give a fuck if you have like 9 million dudes, but like that's gonna be a factor when it comes to marriage, but it's not gonna be a factor when I'm just dating you. I don't really care at this point. And the thing is that can change. If you date a girl with like a high body count, and then you end up liking her and you're willing to marry her, that's completely fine.
It's
but what
cool,
I am
but
saying,
be ready.
But what I am saying is, if you knowingly have a high body count and you're looking for a man to marry you, why would he choose that over a girl that is more pure? And if you think about it, in marriage, the women tend to wear like white dresses, right? White is a symbolism of purity,
right?
And that's the whole point. And like, I'm not saying anyone in America is pure, and like, what? Random thought. When people say high body count, what is a high body count to you? But before you answer that, my answer would be a high body count would be probably like 15 plus. So by the age of 30. 15 plus.
There was a study done, right?
Right.
So age 25 for most women.
Okay.
A high body count is anything more than, get this, 5.
That's high?
Right.
That is not high.
It is.
No. What?
It is. And like I said, I know some women that are like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 100s.
That's high. But 5?
Right.
That's unrealistic.
But that's
dude.
the thing.
Come on. What?
After 5 is when you see more indicators of divorce being more prevalent. Because one of the things I've seen is that when you have a woman with more than 5 body count, or men that she slept with, she starts to develop a kind of kind of like a mental note and list. She has experience, right? So that when she does get married, right, she won't go for the man that she wants. She goes for the man that's available to her at the time, to the one she can get.
Interesting.
Right? So when she is with that guy, let's say she's unhappy sexually, or he's not fulfilling her desires, she'll go back to her experience. I fucked this guy that had great dick. He was great in bed. We don't talk anymore. But now I have to settle for this man that he takes care of me. He takes, gives me everything I need, but does not fulfill me.
But not that.
Right? And a woman with high bodies has that experience to go back on, to where she can say, there was this one guy that I slept with. I remember his name, everything like that. That was the guy. And then she'll, odds are she'll end up being more promiscuous. She'll cheat.
Right.
And then that's where it comes from, right? But a woman with not as much experience, less than 5 bodies, isn't likely to do that, because she doesn't know what it's like, to sleep with that many men. So it's it comes back to really what both people are looking for, right? Because I think the issue is by the time women hit, later in life, they start realizing, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this, or maybe it's time to settle down. Maybe it's time, I end my hoeing days and put it down.
Here we go.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. By that time, and I hate to use the word, they're all used up.
You're kind of too late.
And I hate to say that word because it's super demeaning.
It's fucked up. I know. I get it. But
it is fucked
up. But
like
it's kind of.
But that's the mind of a man,
from.
right?
Right.
By the time you're 30, have a high body count. Why would I settle for you when I can just go get some young 20-year-old with not a lot of high bodies?
And like this isn't misogynistic point of view.
It's just rational.
And here's the thing: when we say shit like that, people think like we're assholes.
Oh, we're assholes.
We're assholes for wanting someone that is more pure and doesn't have 3 kids or whatever. And like, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things I want to talk about is like the rate of marriage is the age of people getting married is going up, right? So back in like let's say the 80s, people are getting married between the age 23 to 27. Right nowadays, people are getting married in the 30s. Right? And whatever, and the thing is, when I tell people this, it's whatever, it's no big deal, but it makes sense because in today's climate, it's hard enough to get a house, it's hard, like the economy is fucked up, and why would you want to risk getting married to somebody like so young, in a sense? But my point is like there's a lot of factor of why the marriage age is going up, but at what point do we look at it and say, hey, this is a concern?
A lot of points to that. So, I mean, some of the things is you have to look at the, back in the day versus, today, for example, right? I think back in the day, the dynamic for women and men, women were willing to wait for a man to find his success and wait for a guy. They build it together, know. That's when the relationship is more meaningful. Nowadays, I think that there's so many options out there that men and women have, right? You have Tinder, you have Hinge, you have Bumble. There's so many ways to meet people that cheating's very easy. So if you do one thing I don't like, next, and that's really unfortunate because, I mean,
tread lightly. I will say tread lightly.
Yeah.
Because what I've experienced when I talk to my girlfriend Megan, when you generalize stuff like that, it comes off as like you're saying that about everybody. But I personally get where you're coming from.
Right.
But for those people that hear what you say, like, oh, this guy's an asshole for saying that, but I get where you come from. You're not coming from that angle.
No, I mean, I think I bring, my experience is based on, like, you're talking about a Middle Eastern household and an American culture, right? Okay. So you're taking someone that's kind of, I've seen it all. I've seen arranged marriages. I've been asked to be an arranged marriage for many people.
Oh, shit.
But I'm not a fan of that, I mean... I think it's good practice, right? I do like the dynamic that the family, the part that family plays in it, right. And I think that's important that they stay involved. But at the same time, I like the freedom, I like the options, and I like the availability and how easy it is to date. Because a lot of people, like for me, for instance, grew up an introvert. Right? I'm not very good at talking to girls. I blame that on my parents, by the way. I'm not very good at talking to girls. I've never had, much success in the dating scene. So focused most of my energy on myself, kind of building my career. Right. Because I think for a lot of guys, when you're not very successful in dating, better go get that bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or get a waifu pillow.
Yeah. Like anime. But when you're not that successful, I mean, you turn to the next best option, which is just making money, man. And
I think that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, it is, because I mean, I think a lot of guys realize that even though you may not, be the best looking, or you may not be making it work in the dating scene, money can kind of change. Money makes you look a little better. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. And the reason behind that is money brings power, and power brings status.
It's security.
And think about this. Yeah. Why do you think all these rich people are going for like Ferrari and Lamborghini and all that stuff? If Lamborghinis and Ferrari are all over the place, do you think people would still want that? No, the Lamborghini and Ferrari is nothing but a status symbol, right? With the status symbol comes with the power And with power, you can pretty much do whatever you want as a man.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And one hilarious point is that I was on a date and the girl literally said to me, "Oh, you have an Android phone?"
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, if you don't have an Apple phone, I'm not interested."
Oh my god.
Like, bro, are you kidding me?
What?
Like, I make more money than you. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
like,
see,
it comes back to status symbols, right?
Right.
Like, you see Apple, you immediately think wealth.
Right.
When in reality, it's not exactly the case. It's just a generalization. But there's a lot of generalizations made that can really.
Yeah. So you have to be really careful with what you think of other people.
Right.
And like how you judge it. You have to be like self-aware enough to say like, hey, I shouldn't be judging people based on their phone.
But
I should be judging people based on like, you know, what they bring to me, like personality wise and all this stuff.
Judgments aren't necessarily a bad thing, though.
I don't think so either.
They can help prevent a lot of hardship, though.
I agree.
Right? Like if I know that off the rip you do something I don't like as a woman, it saves me a lot of time. I could just X you out onto the next one.
Right.
But it may not be a telltale sign of how you react. I just know that the expectations on men are very, very high nowadays.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you're not making six figures, if you don't own a home, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you're not going to make it.
Exactly.
But for a woman, the expectations aren't that high. Loyalty
it's
and
just
peace.
different. It's just different.
Just loyal. I mean, just be loyal. I mean, that's for me. It's simply loyalty, right? I'm working my ass off all day. I don't expect my future wife to work. In fact, I uphold a lot of my traditional Persian values, which is I would take home, stay at home, relax,
right.
honestly, kick it,
right,
enjoy all the things that
right.
you have. Just take care of my kids.
Right.
That's the only thing. Just make sure they have a good mother. Teach them the ways of the world the right way.
Right, because if you don't, what ends up happening is your kid is gonna grow up like with the wrong values.
Yeah.
Right. And as a man, we instinctively know that like we have roles as a gender. We have to protect.
Right.
We have to provide, and like we have to sacrifice a lot more than women. And like
Yep.
I'm willing to do that.
I'm willing to do it,
exactly.
but as long as you're willing to be loyal, that's the thing.
Right.
Like I never understood households that the guy's making millions of dollars and she has time to cheat.
Right.
How could you do? I mean, it's one thing to not be fulfilled, but then the other thing comes back to communication.
Right.
And that's the one thing that I think, for me, it's the easiest thing. Because
Right.
I'll be straight up and honest. If I'm not happy in a relationship, we can talk about it. But a lot of the times, when one person is unhappy, it either goes right to cheating, they don't have a conversation, they're not willing to make it work because there's so many options that if this, oh, it's not going to work, let me just find out what else is out there.
Yeah.
You're so quick to turn to it.
That's the problem. People think like I can find something better.
Yeah.
And like that's the mentality we have right now because of like Tinder. Like just apps like that where your options are so vast. You think that like, oh, I have all the time in the world to like just find the better option.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. I mean, my education is in psychology, and,
right.
and that's, you bring a good point because I could find better. There's a theory called the social exchange theory, which is the idea that people's feelings about a relationship depend on the perceptions of the rewards and costs of the relationships, the kind of relationship they deserve, and their chances for having a better relationship with someone else, right? So you weigh the options. Can I get better out there? If not, how can I make it work with this relationship? Right? But that's, it comes back to compromise.
It comes down to your principle too.
Right.
As an individual.
Yep.
And I guess I wanted to make a comment about what you said earlier about like some women are staying home and then yet they still cheat. And the thing is, they're human beings just like us.
Right.
If they're not happy with like the lifestyle that they want, they don't want to be a housewife and all that stuff, then I don't blame them. I get it.
Have a conversation.
I kind of get it. I get it. Like I don't want women to be just housewives.
Right.
But the thing is, like, that's a good quality of a woman. But like people nowadays are thinking that's like, oh, you shouldn't want a housewife. You should be like an independent woman. You should worry about your money. You should worry about like individuality and all that stuff. And I'm saying like you want to be a man and like make your life hard as us. And like you don't have the same pursuit. You don't have the same drive, or not drive. You don't have the same core value as men do. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I hear enough women complaining about like I said earlier with the coal. This lady's digging up coal. She'd rather stay at home and do all this stuff, and then like you'll be a happier woman. Like who are you proving by like doing what men are doing? Like going through all the struggle that we are doing.
Right.
Like, what do
And it's. I mean, you're trying to compete, right? You want equality. That's cool.
Yeah.
But there's consequences for wanting equality, right? There was a study found that a lot of women are more fulfilled when they have a family dynamic.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly it. But our generation, our people are saying like, you don't want that. You want to get a career. You want to get a degree and all that stuff.
It's not our generation. It's more of the predominant female figures, right? You have
Cardi B.
Not Cardi B. Nicki Minaj is the worst one, right? Nicki Minaj. Oh, go get the bag, queen.
Yeah.
You don't need no man. That's the wrong role model to set for a lot of young women.
Exactly. And the thing is, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, they can do it because they're rich.
Right. They can say that.
And they're pushing all these stuff to like average women that don't live that lifestyle, that can't live that lifestyle. And when they try to do it, they fail flat on their face. And then like, what do you want? What do you want men to do? Like, I don't fucking know, dude.
But their agenda is based off of selling that propaganda to women, right? Because then you have a lot of people following the same kind of suit, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the bag, I don't need no man because a man can't hold me down. Those are a lot of red flags. Like, if at any point during a date you would hit me with I'm a queen and stuff like that,
I'm a bad bitch.
Yeah, no, that's you're out. That
right.
Because that tells me you're just not ready.
Right.
You got a lot more experience that you need. When you're finally looking for a wife, I feel like it's going to feel a lot more natural. It shouldn't be, I have to prove myself to you,
right.
But you should see my accomplishments, as a man. You should see everything I've kind of had to go through, my struggle, and say, hey, this is someone I could see a future with. But instead, it's, what do you have to offer me?
Right.
You have to earn my love. You have to earn my my passion, and that's just so unfortunate because there's so many relationships that I personally I've wanted to make work. It's just that there's always something more that people want, and it takes a lot of time to get to that point. So.
Sorry, man. I gotta let my cat in now. He's meowing.
He's a cutie.
Yeah. This is my. We'll come back to this. Like,
yeah,
I've been wanting to talk about this cat for like a hot minute. I've had him for a month. His name is Poo Poo Pee Pee, but people can call him JoJo. That's fine. But yeah, it's my cat. Oh God.
Very needy cat. It's okay. I've got 3 myself.
Yeah, so to come back to the conversation with the whole Cardi B and like Nicki Minaj, like they're trying to encourage women to make more money, and which is fine. Get your bag, but you also have to understand that like it's gonna cause conflict when it comes to you finding a man, right? Oh, yeah. Because what end up happening is a woman, if you make like let's say 100K, right? You're gonna want a man that makes more money than you.
Yeah.
Right? Women tend to date up. They only date up. They don't typically want to date down because, like, women, they have more internal value and they recognize that. You can't just give yourself out to anybody. And I get that, and that's what you should do. And if you are making all this money and you are looking for a man that is 6 foot tall, making 100K, don't cheat. And do all the shenanigans, and like, and I listen to people where they would say like, "Oh, this is possible, but what is it probable? Or you're going to be able to find that particular man with all these criteria because your standard is so ridiculously high and you refuse to go down." So like, I agree, make your paper boo boo, but if you are looking for a man and then you're having all these crazy standards, I got no one to blame. But and like I said, and this is a problem because we live in a society where you have to make that much money, and like it causes ripple effect of like it just makes people not pursue the other gender because you have to struggle. You have to worry about money as a woman at its age. Because back then you don't have to work. You can just like do your own thing and then have a man supply everything for you. But in today's society, you can't do that anymore because now women have to work hard, and because they work hard, they make more money, and because they make more money, their standard goes up, and it goes back to everything that I was saying. Right. It's a trickling effect.
It disqualifies them for a lot of the things they're looking for in happy relationships, right? Because successful women have to display a lot of dominant male traits that most men,
don't find attractive.
They don't find attractive, and they're not willing to compete with, right? If my lady's making 200K and I'm making 100K,
okay.
she had to do something to make that 200K.
Right.
She had to display some alpha characteristics. So when she comes home to me, she's not going to want to be the submissive.
Right.
Why should she be? She makes more money than me.
See,
right?
Right.
But then you have the argument that, oh, I know this guy that is willing to do that, is willing to be submissive, right? But it's, like I said, exception does not make the rule. So you can't really take outliers like that and make them fact. I mean, you might know one person that does that, but odds are if she's making more money, she's not going to stay with you. And if she does stay with you, it's not going to be for long, right? I mean, in the same example, right? You have cases where women are unemployed, guys paying the bills, guys paying for the shelter, and a guy will stay with a girl. Right. Even though she might not have a job, she's just kicking it. But reverse the roles, right?
Yeah.
If a guy ends up being unemployed, she'll work. She loves him, right? For maybe 2-3 months, 4 or 5 months. But then she's leaving him, right? Because he's a loser.
Right.
Right.
See, it's like we value different qualities on the other gender.
Right.
Right.
Love has a price.
It does.
For a lot of people. And personally, love for me is... it's unconditional because I mean, it should be unconditional, but there's many conditions nowadays.
I don't believe that. No, I don't know, man. The only person that would love you unconditionally is your mama and your daddy.
True,
right?
but
when it comes to like adult dating, I feel like every relationship is conditional.
It is conditional, but the goal is for it to be unconditional. I mean, that's the dream, right?
Oh,
for it to be unconditional.
Marry and love her unconditionally till the day you die.
When I'm doing down, she'll help me through the worst parts of my life and help grow me.
Right.
Yeah, I wish it worked like that. But when things get rough in relationships, one person ends up just hitting the road and trying their options elsewhere. So,
I mean, I can't blame them. I mean, if that's the thing, everyone has the choice to do whatever you want to do, but also you are also responsible for the consequence and the reward that comes with it.
Yeah, and I don't feel bad for people that make the wrong choices and stuff like that, because there's expectations and then there's what ifs, right? There's the expectation that if I stay in this relationship, things might get better, and there's what if, right? The chance that it could be better or it could be worse, and most people are willing to take that chance rather than sticking it out and making it work. So
right. All right, I got an interesting comment, man. When you were saying that, like, a woman, if a woman loses her job, the man will stay with her, right?
Yeah.
But if a man loses a job, the woman more than likely won't.
She'll put up with it.
For a few months.
Yeah.
Right. So with all that being said, I already know what some people would say to that. Oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't leave a man if he lost his job. I feel like a lot of these people would say it, but when it actually happened to them, no.
Saying it in action or two different things, yeah.
and like I'm 30 years old, and I've seen it where you think like, oh, this is a good idea, everyone deserves equality, or I would never leave a man if he doesn't have a job, and then like you say that, you sound cool, but when it comes down to it, no, it doesn't make any
it
damn
sounds
sense.
great. It sounds you think you're a great person by saying that, but at the end of the day, you're looking out for yourself.
Yeah, you have no incentive to be with this person, and then like. That's the reality I live in. Like I take all the emotions out, and I kind of understand. I understand where this comes from. If you as a woman, need to be supported, and you don't want to be with a guy that doesn't make anything with his life, then like, don't lie to the world and say like, I'm willing to stay with this man forever. That's not fucking true.
It's not gonna happen.
Get the hell out of here, man. That's a lie.
And coming back to red flags, how about you? I mean, what are things that you dislike, and what things that you look for in relationships?
Red flags, huh? Okay, so the first easy one is how you treat a waiter.
Treat a waiter. Okay, interesting. Gotcha.
Because like if you treat a waiter like shit, and you say like, oh, I ordered this and not that, and then like you pretty much cause like a ruckus, being a Karen. Yeah. Like that's a red flag for me right there.
Yeah.
And a second one for me is maybe this is more personal, but like you don't want a family.
Right.
I agree. Is that I feel like that's a personal red flag, because like instinctively, like I know my unga bunga brain like wants to produce a family.
Right.
That's
instinct.
And like especially women, another red flag would be a woman that's not willing to cook.
I mean,
that's
yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah. So, I mean, then it comes back to roles, man. So, I mean, I believe in roles because roles is what makes it's proven throughout history that when both genders appropriate to their own roles, it works.
It works, yeah.
It works.
Right.
And they're happy, and kids are raised happy and well and educated and smart.
Yeah, and there are studies that show that like if a child grows up with only one parent rather than both parents, they tend to have a worse life than like having two.
Definitely, and it's
Right.
you know it's tougher when it's like a you know when you have a boy, for instance, like a young 5-year-old boy raised by his mother, right? It's not worse because she'll show him how to be an adult, but she won't teach him how to be a man.
Exactly.
Right. And that's the toughest part. It's good for women because I believe that a good wife teaches their daughter how to be a housewife.
Right.
And that's the thing.
That doesn't exist in today's time, man. At least I don't think it does.
It comes to standards, right? Because my aunt has been kind of preparing my cousin because, like I said, straight Middle Eastern background, 100%. She is like 27, hasn't slept with anyone, has been, because her biggest value is her purity. Right?
Yes.
Because
I love hearing this.
Yep. Her biggest value was her purity,
Right.
and I hate to say it like this, when she finally, I'm not going to say sold her off, but I would say when she
$500, $500,
right,
$600,
when she
$700.
found an appropriate man for him, because like I said, it's an arranged marriage.
Right.
It was a wonderful marriage, but here's the thing: in our culture, we have something called seke, which is it's a dowry.
Okay.
Familiar with dowries?
Nope.
Okay, a dowry
Exactly.
is kind of like an offering that you make when you want to marry someone, right? So,
Okay.
if I were to marry Stacy is
Have you seen Stacey's mom, by the way?
I heard she's got it going on.
Oh yeah, got it going on for sure.
But let's say I'm dating Stacy, right?
Okay.
And I've met the family. The family's good background. She's a virgin.
Okay.
Impossible, right? Incredible.
Okay.
She's allowed to set a price for herself, right?
Right.
And the dowry isn't necessarily a price. It's more of like an insurance policy, right?
Okay.
So it's in the event that anything happened in the marriage, there's 500 gold coins I must pay. And each gold coin is valued at like $2,000. So it's like maybe like $500,000
Woo, sheesh.
that if things don't work out,
Right.
right? But then again, you don't base the relationship or anything off that because you hope it doesn't happen.
Right.
It's to put a price on.
Take it more seriously.
To take it more seriously,
Right,
exactly.
right.
So a guy is more devoted. A guy is,
Exactly.
and the thing is, it's
Yo.
a healthy thing. It's not meant
It is.
to be abused or anything
Right.
like that. It's meant to say, I bring to you my purity as a woman,
Right.
and I bring to you my loyalty as a man. We have the same mindset that we're going to make this work, whatever it takes.
Right.
And it's reciprocated.
Right.
But take the money out of it, right? The money was just a kind of way to
It's insurance, like you said.
solidify the marriage,
Right.
saying, off chance that something happens,
There's something on the line.
there's a punishment.
Right.
You took this pure girl, and she's no longer pure, so to
Right.
speak.
Okay,
So
I get
you pay that price as a
Okay,
guy,
I
right?
get you.
And like I said, it's tough to kind of put it in perspective like that, but it's a very real thing. And then in Iran, we also have something called siqeh, which is in layman's terms a temporary marriage, right?
Okay.
So you can always go to the government, you can get this little signature that say, hey, I'm going to marry this chick for 5 hours to see what it's like
You can do
to
that?
to see what it's like to marry this person. In fairness, it's very frowned upon because it's a way of hooking up in Iranian culture, to be honest. But it's done legally.
Okay. Right. I mean, it's a cultural thing. I mean, I get it.
It is, yeah, it's cultural, but
Right.
it's frowned upon. Let's be honest.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, a woman's, in my perspective, the biggest thing that a woman can bring to the table is loyalty and purity. And it's not necessarily that I'm looking for pure girls every time I go on a date.
Yeah,
Are you a virgin?
Right,
It's
right.
very weird. I mean, you have to come to.
It's a concept.
Right,
It's a journey.
Exactly.
It's a
the
journey.
concept.
It's a journey.
It's the
It's
concept.
not a one thing that you have forever.
Yes.
It's like your principle.
Yep.
And I'm glad you brought up with the whole, was it your aunt that said with the purity? Or who
Yes.
was it? Yeah. See, and I love hearing stuff like that because it shows her character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and because of her idea and her purity and her principle, she was able to pass it on to the next generation, and it's really important, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm being big headed, but like Megan, my girlfriend, she knows more know about this about me more than anybody else. But like I am a man of principle, and I value like manliness, manhood, and all that stuff. You know, because like once you produce a child, you have to pass these qualities to make sure that your kid have the best life that they have.
Yeah.
Right? And like for a woman, like purity is a good thing. It's a good thing, you know. It's not something you can just like throw around, you know.
Right.
And like and that's kind of what keeps you, makes you valuable as a woman, and as a man, your principle, your hard work, and everything, like that's how you determine yourself as a good man.
Yeah, and you can always have the counter argument. Oh, it's just sex, right? It's not a big deal. It's just very natural. It's just sex. Mm-hmm. But then you have to come back to what do you actually want, right?
Right.
Tell the a high value for average earning men, and that's when it comes to most women want a high value guy.
Right. They date up.
Right. Most men, 10% of men, make $100,000 a year.
Exactly.
So you have all the women chasing most of the high value men.
Right.
It's competition.
Right.
Right. So at some point you're going to have to settle. Right.
Right.
And I think the issue we have is a lot of women are delusional in thinking that they deserve more than they are worth.
Right.
In the call it sexual marketplace, right?
Right.
If you know damn well, and a little controversial, if you know a woman is like a 6 or a 7,
okay,
right? You never usually tend to see them with high value men,
right,
10 guys, because those guys have options, right?
Exactly.
And you have these skewed perceptions of reality, right?
Right.
Oh, I want a guy that makes $600K. Buy me bags all the time, take care of me. It's not taking care of you.
Why would he want you when
Right.
he have like all these other options?
Exactly.
Right?
And if you do end up going for a high value guy, be ready for cheating because
you said it. Yes.
Because that's what comes with it, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't work my ass off making $600K a year and becoming a top 1% man just to settle for one woman.
Right.
It sounds great, but if you want that, go for an average guy.
Right.
Go for a guy that makes 50, 60K and have a happy life. Call it a day. But then you have, promoters like these high I wouldn't say high value women, but high earning women that kind of skew the perception of reality for a lot of women and say, you know what, you can have whatever you want as long as you put your mind to it, as long as you tell yourself I deserve it, you will get it.
Right. Okay.
And that's really setting a lot of women up for failure, in my opinion. I mean, guys don't have the luxury of being able to fail in life.
Oh yeah,
if a guy fails in life, if he doesn't figure it out, you're fucked.
Exactly.
And life will tell you that. You won't get girls.
Yep.
You'll be a loser. You'll get a reality check really fast.
Yeah.
But in this in this society, we have a lot of avenues to where we have escape routes for women. Oh, don't worry about it, queen. You deserve more. He ain't shit. Stuff like that. You have a lot of avenues and a lot of ways to take a lot of the responsibility away from women and punish men for the same type of mistakes that they would possibly make. So it's a clown world we live in. It really is a clown world.
Yeah. It's not fair, man.
It's not fair, but I think men realize it's not fair and we're just living in this world. And I don't think that we're quite there with women in terms of coming to a point where we realize that maybe we're not all that. Maybe the world doesn't revolve around us. And really just being honest with ourselves.
Right.
I think that's the biggest issue, and it comes from having honestly the biggest thing I can recommend is therapy. I have a degree in psychology, so I mean I've gone to therapy myself. It's awesome. It helps you really find what you're missing. It really gives you kind of not guidance, but it helps you set up for what you're really looking for in life.
Right.
They can really break down a lot of what your issues are and really
So let me comment on that real quick. So, but you're right. Like, going to therapy is definitely the right thing, because like if you are in the dating world, right, and you're a woman, right, and you think that all men are evil, all men are sexist, all men are terrible people, like, don't you think that's like a toxic view of like the other gender? This is something you got to work on.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if you ever go on Tinder, right, and you see a girl says no hookup,
Oh yeah, all the time.
No one night stand, and like that's a red flag. Right, that indicates to me that this woman has been in a hookup before, and she doesn't want to repeat it.
She has baggage.
Yeah, I mean, she's going through all this trauma, and she doesn't even realize. She's just giving you a warning, but like that warning is giving me a warning about you.
Yep.
And like if you had sorted that out and viewed that like, okay, look, not all men are evil. Not all men are here just to have sex. Yep. Like it will increase your chance, and it will definitely help your mental health on like how you view the other person, because it's important. You can't be viewing like the other gender as like a piece of shit.
I mean, let's be honest.
That's terrible.
Though, most guys do want sex, and it's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's okay. It's just instinct.
Yeah,
but
it's instinct.
But then like it's hilarious you bring up that point, because I've been on plenty of dates where.
Dating stories. I love dating stories.
Girls are like, you should be, I've got a lot of baggage. I hope you're willing to put up with me.
Oh, God.
And, if I need a man that's willing to, accept me for who I am and bullshit like that. Why the hell should I accept
Why am I fixing you?
I don't even know you.
Right.
I'm going on a first date with you, and you're dropping all your baggage on me to prepare me, right? So if I go on another date with you, I've already accepted the fact that you have a lot of baggage, right?
So what that says, like, hey, I have all these problems, and I need you to either
put up with
it,
yep.
or fix me.
Yep.
Or, bitch, how about you fix yourself?
Right, exactly. I'm like, have you tried therapy?
And the same thing goes to men. I'll say the same shit to men. You know, like, men, you need to fix yourself too. And like, instead of being like a what's that? Fuck. It's the easiest word, I can't remember. But like, when men are beta, what's that word?
Simp?
Not simp.
Oh.
Cuck? No, there's a word for it. Well, I'll come back to it. Don't be a beta bitch.
Right.
And like, you have to work on yourself too.
Right. I mean, it goes both ways, right? But I mean, moreover, it's like, if you're starting off a fresh relationship with, here's my baggage, put up with it, or it's not going to work. It's not like I bring baggage,
Hold on, incel. That was the word I was thinking of. Sorry.
What is it?
Incel.
Incel.
Don't be involuntary celibate. Like you're a virgin. You never heard of this?
No.
Yeah, incel is involuntary celibate, where you're pretty much a virgin, and like you're blaming society for why you're being a virgin.
Okay.
Like women are at fault why no one made me and all that stuff.
Life is unfair.
Shit
like that.
The nice guy bullshit. Yeah, you need to fix yourself.
Yeah.
Like I give women shit, and at the same time I also give men equal amount of shit as well.
But the problem is we have a lot of negative connotations about what therapy is.
Right.
We think that, this guy's in therapy, he has issues. Bitch, we all have issues.
Everyone has issues. Yeah. It's normal. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's not sexy to say you have issues.
Yeah, that's true.
You
wouldn't say that in the first date. You maybe when someone gets to know you.
Right. But it should be a given that everyone's had, pain, struggle, heartache. We've all had issues, but when you start off, hi, my name's Romin, I have issues. That's essentially what you're doing when you say, put up with my baggage.
Right.
Because I'm not bringing my baggage to the table. When you date someone new, you should have already figured out all that shit.
Exactly.
That shit should be behind you.
Right.
Because now you're bringing shit from a previous relationship into a new relationship. And you're already starting off with problems.
Right.
You're already setting the relationship up for failure. And it's not fair to the guy. It's I mean, roles reversed, right? So it's not fair to the girl.
Right.
It's not fair to anyone.
Right.
And relationships are doomed to fail in that case.
You gotta look inward, man, dude.
Yeah.
I read this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah.
And one of the principles that I definitely took to heart is you have to take personal accountability for literally everything in your life.
Yeah.
And the minute you do that, the minute you stop blaming everybody and start to look inward, that's how you get a solution. You can't be making up excuses and blaming other people, because what good is that gonna do for you? So that, and I agree with you, man. That's the first thing in therapy. But so let me get your opinion on this. So if you are making an average amount of money, and therapy costs about $100 per session, I feel that the fact that therapy is not easily accessible for everybody, and that's hard, because you can tell people, go to therapy, but if you're just a regular Joe Blow not making the money, how the hell is that even possible?
There are a few avenues in place to make sure people are taken care of. I mean, I know when I was going to, I would say most people are college students And for the people that aren't, I would say let's say 50% of people are college students, right?
Okay.
When I was going to UNCC, I mean, I had opportunities for free counseling sessions.
Oh hell yeah! I know that. Yeah.
I went to all 10 of mine. You were given 10 sessions. I went to all of them.
Oh, nice.
And I took advantage of them, man. And it helped give me perspective. It really gave me, what I needed to progress from my, bad relationship. Mm-hmm. It gave me confidence, man, because it made me feel like, I think the biggest thing I learned from therapy is, you don't deserve, you're not entitled to an explanation, right? Because my first relationship ended because I don't know, because she just broke up with me over text.
Right.
And I wanted an explanation because for me, I'm technically, I'm a perfectionist. I want to know what I did wrong so I don't make the same mistake in the future. Mm-hmm. And for me, I wanted an explanation. Okay. And I didn't get it.
Right.
And I think what therapy taught me is that I'm not entitled to an explanation. If she doesn't want to tell me, it's not my job. I don't have to have that answer. Right. And you have to be okay with it. You don't have a choice. So being okay with not knowing is something that you're just going to have to get over.
Right. No, I completely agree, man, because my last two relationship, I never got closure.
Yep.
And,
terrible.
And like, it fucking sucks. And
terrible.
It's easy for me to say, hey, it's okay, you don't need closure, but when you're in that moment, because I know how it feels when you hear it, like it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like I need, like I'm being torn apart from the inside, and like getting closure will help me heal. But what I learned is like closure isn't gonna help you heal. You're still like, it's always gonna be more. You're always gonna want more. I need more of this, more closure, and then like once you go through it, you see it. So that's where I'm coming from.
It's a tough road, man, but. That's the thing. I mean, access to therapy, like let's say you can get through university. I know my current job offers it for free. Oh. I know with COVID happening, a lot more employers are offering therapy just because of current events.
Right.
So I would also say, and I'm not 100% sure, right? But there's also a lot of government assistance that goes into seeking mental health. Mm-hmm. I know there has to be a program for it, but I think the only issue with that is they're all backed up. Getting an appointment for a therapist might take a couple months. By that time, months, what? Right? Shit. Yeah, and by that time, it's already like the issue has passed, or you figured out a way past it to where you may not think you need a therapist until you're presented the same situation again, and you're like, oh shit, I should have gone to therapy.
Right? No, I get you.
Right, but. That's the thing. Like, if I were to give advice to women, don't put your baggage on men. Mm-hmm. It's not fair to them. If you're going into a relationship, go into it being optimistic,
right?
And go into dating a guy thinking that this is the future. This is the man of your dreams. But that's the thing. It all depends on what you're looking for. If you're just looking to date a guy just to fuck him, go for it.
Right.
But I think that you should make that very clear to him. Even though it may not be a sexy conversation or it may not be a spicy, because that's the thing. A lot of how relationships start is if there's attraction right off the bat, right? Mm-hmm. This guy needs to check all the boxes, like you said. He needs to be 6 foot tall. He needs to be handsome. He needs to be making money. He needs to do this. I think guys aren't that complicated to where all you really need to be as a female is cooperative, submissive. And be feminine, yeah. Right. Be feminine and show me that you have what it takes to be the future mother of my children. Because and that's a personal thing, right? Because I'm very like you. I'm very big on family, right? My bloodline is the most important thing. My last name,
right?
Even my last name is it has ties to our bloodlines,
right?
So when you're looking for long-term relationships, or even if that's not what you're looking for, just have a conversation with yourself. Just ask yourself what you want,
right?
And just be honest with your partner, because it just makes it easier at the end of the day. If he's not what you're looking for, don't drag him on. Right. Just kind of waste his time, waste his money. But the onus is on men to know when that's happening as well, right?
Exactly.
You can say, oh, I hope she doesn't do this, or hope that women don't do that to you. But guys need to get smarter about realizing when the intentions of the other person, right?
Right.
The intentions should be made clear very early, and if they're not made clear, it's up to. It depends. Like I said, depends on what both people want. If a guy, wants a girlfriend, he needs to vet her hard as fuck. He needs to, hey, what are your goals? What are your? But that's the thing. It's these. They're very good points to want in someone, but I've heard before that, you never ask a girl, what their career goals or what they want in life on the first date, right? Okay. Because the first date's all about attraction. Dude, fuck that. If you can't tell me,
it's an investment.
Exactly,
day,
it's
right?
an
so
investment.
So you're gonna go in blind investing in somebody that you don't give a fuck. You shouldn't judge me for.
You hope it works out. No, dude.
The fuck?
I'm gonna vet you hard, especially if
there's nothing wrong with that.
If you're gonna be my future wife.
There's nothing wrong with that. Exactly, dude.
So I mean, I would put the onus on women that when you're at the point in your life when you're taking a man seriously, right? I know this guy. This is the guy that can change my life. How are you going to approach that?
Are you going to take it seriously?
Are you going to take it seriously? Exactly. Or are you going to do what you did in the past in a relationship and use your previous baggage as a crutch? Right? And I know right away, let's say if you use your baggage against me, disqualified right away. And like I said, I'll still fuck with you, right? But the responsibility of women is, once you have sex with a guy, is how can I retain him, right? How can I keep this guy around? Because guys are going to want to fuck. And it's okay. I mean, right?
And the thing is, guys do the exact same thing. What do I got to do to retain this woman in my life? And typically it's to provide, to protect.
Yes.
Right?
We already are doing the things we need to.
Instinctively already know this.
Yeah.
I take that back. Most men instinctively know this. Most men.
Yes. Right. And for the ones that don't, I mean, fuck boys and stuff like that.
And I'm glad that we're talking about all this, because this was the whole point of this whole podcast.
Yeah.
Because there are the views and all these stuff like Oprah, and these are a platform for women to talk about stuff, but there's not really a platform for men. When there are platforms for men, we get condemned for what we want and sharing our desire and needs. And I don't want to say I'm an advocate. I don't want to speak on behalf of all men, but at the same time, I'm a man, so I should be able to say I'm knowledgeable enough to look out for other men as well.
Of course, yeah.
And so I don't have to have a degree in men to understand men. I've grown. I've been living for 30 years
of experience.
I know what a man wants.
Yeah.
Men love femininity and all the little stuff, and what men don't want is a career-driven women and
honestly,
all this stuff.
Dude, men are very simple creatures.
Dude, that's what I'm trying to tell people. And women are overcomplicating that shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's and the crazy part is men having to jump around hoops to get what they want nowadays.
Dude, you are 100% right about that, dude. Why do I have to bend over backward just for you to be supportive and agree with me and be supportive? I don't understand that,
Yeah.
And dude, feminine women drive me fucking wild, dude. And I know
feminists?
feminine women
drive
all men.
Oh
wild.
yeah, they're amazing.
Dude, oh my god, the way they talk, the way they they walk, they're all dude, the whole
It's
picture.
A lot of things, right? It's tone of voice.
Dude,
if you're soft spoken,
non-aggressive,
right? Those are all
Is that so much to ask for?
It's really not. Right. And it's not, as opposed to what men have to do to create their value. Right.
Oh, so now we have to put our body on the lines. If the ship is sinking, men, women and children come first, and the men we're fucked.
Right.
We're the last one to go, right? If we get drafted, men go to war. Men doing all the hard working shit, right? You know?
You want equality, right? If a burglar breaks into the house, you're going to expect me to beat his ass, right? Right. There you go. I'm not going to expect you to get up but we're equal, right? So why is it my responsibility to take care of the guy breaking in?
Right.
If we're equal.
Right. I get what you're saying, man. Dude. And I really do believe in the whole gender role thing, because here's my explanation of it. Imagine an average woman, right, holding up a man his, I don't know what to explain, but his arm is wrapped around her knee,
right,
and then he's she's holding his knee and his arm. It's fucking weird to see a woman hold an average man.
Right.
It's weird, and it's more natural to see a man holding a woman, because in our head we instinctively know that men are supposed to protect women, and we hold these women up, and then it's just weird for women to protect men. you know, when they're not like physically big as us, and like it doesn't work the other way around.
Right.
You know, so like when women are trying to become men and men are trying to become women, like
it's not natural.
It doesn't work, dude.
Yeah, and I mean,
You know?
it'll work for some people, right? But for a majority of people,
Right.
exception does not make the rule, right?
And it goes back to like drive, man, and what men value. Men value like all this social status and all that stuff, and women value different things. But when women are trying to pursue what men want, they end up realizing that they're not happy because they're pursuing what men want and not what women want.
So let me ask you this. I mean, simply this: what do you want at the end of the day in a woman? Like, what can she offer you that'll make you happy?
I want a feminine woman. I want someone that can cook. I want someone that can be supportive and listen to me throughout the day, right? So if I make a decision for us, I want you to support me instead of arguing back and forth.
Follow your lead, right?
Right, follow me, right? Because by the end of the day, you have power you have more power than you think. And like I'm here to like boost you up as long as you boost me up as well. You know, we're in this together.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not looking for a woman that's like it's all about me. Well, what can the man do for me?
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of what I typically want, and you know, a physically fit woman.
Right.
Right. To a degree, and yeah, someone that's like family oriented, someone understand like how to cook food. Yeah.
To me, that's very simple, right?
Yeah,
it's not very simple.
Trust, honesty.
Yeah.
You know, like, and the list goes on, and I kind of want to ask you, man, like, just let's make an announcement to like all the women and all the men out there. You know, like, this is what men value. Right. So that I'm speaking for myself, but also at the same time, what I've said will probably apply to like 99% of men. They probably want the exact same thing.
Yep.
Right. So what do you think men want? You know, like what do you think men want?
The most important thing I think that I believe that men want, right, and is I can only say from personal experience, right, because you know I've owned a home and I've rented out several of the rooms to roommates, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of chaos going on. You make some money on the side, right? But after everyone moves out, I'm willing to give up everything for peace. Mm-hmm. I want to come home after a long day of work and know that everything at home is quiet.
Right.
I don't have to clean. Orderly. I mean, right now, you know, I'm single, right? So I'll do all the cooking and the cleaning. Mm-hmm. I know how to take care of myself, so I don't necessarily need someone else. Right. But it would be nice that if I could come home, everything's clean, everything's quiet, everything smells good. You know, like I want to know that the hard day I had at work, you know, I can come home to something nice.
Right.
And I don't think that's a lot to ask. In fact, it's quite easy. And it happens to be the most complicated thing for people to give, because I'm not a person that likes drama. The second you like drama, like I've had many girls, right? Actually, one in particular that would argue with me just for the sake of arguing.
Oh,
right?
Man. Not even for fun?
No, just for fun.
Oh,
because
man.
Our relationship was going so well, right? That she thought that by arguing with me, that it would help strengthen us, that it meant I cared.
What?
That it meant I cared.
Oh, what?
But for me, it's like, you're making up a dumb argument. I'm just going to leave. Like, it's very simple.
Right.
Like, I'm not willing to put up with drama.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, my peace is more important.
Mm-hmm.
My peace will always trump whatever anything you can provide.
That tends to fix a lot of the issues that men go through already.
Yeah.
You know, like come home from work, I already deal with all these issues, and then like come home with dealing with more problems. You know, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so let me try to break this down where people can understand. If you are the top 1% of men, right? Mm-hmm. You're making all this money, everybody wants you, right? What can you do that a maid can't, a therapist can't, XYZ? So what can you do that I can't just pay people to do?
Yeah.
You know, that's typically what men are looking for. Like, you know,
how do you add value to my life?
Exactly.
Right.
You know, like why don't I just hire a maid instead? Why do I need you to cook my food? Like, it's like, yes, I do say that like being able to cook for me is important, but like it's more than that. You know, like it's not just the cooking, it's the being able to care for somebody. That's the underlying layer of like knowing how to cook. Yeah. So when I say I want a woman who knows how to cook, what I'm saying is I want someone to be able to take care of me to a certain degree.
Yeah, and it's not to say that we can't take care of ourselves, right? Because
we can't.
It's not that, like, here's the thing: high value men don't necessarily need you as a woman. Mm-hmm. We were able to survive just fine successful men, make money, good job, roof over our heads, cook, clean. I was able to do all that before I met you. Your job as a woman is to make my life easier because I'm putting a roof over our head.
Right.
Because I'm making this work for us.
Right.
It's a team. So
and again, what I said earlier is in the climate that we're in. How do I word this? You can't do that by yourself. I don't know. Shit, I'm sorry, but I got a little bit sidetracked there.
No. You can, I mean.
Oh no. Okay. I'm sorry. Back to what I was saying. Like in today's climate, you can't, as a woman, you can't just depend on a man to do all that, because the cost of living is higher, right? And it takes about 2 people to live in a household, right?
Right.
So as a woman, you also have to take care of yourself. Thinking like, oh shit, if things don't work out with this guy, I had to learn to take care of myself. It wasn't always like that.
I mean,
You know?
it's and you come to reverse roles, right? For men, it's very easy to live alone, to live the single life and to make it work. For women, it might not be that easy. Women's strength is when they can actually find a partner, mix incomes. I feel like that's when women are the happiest, is when they can actually have peace for themselves, because I feel like a lot of women gravitate towards drama, because if there's no drama, there's no excitement in life. And women crave excitement. They want change. They want excitement. They want always something going on.
Be careful what you say with the generalizing, man.
I don't think it's generalized. I think that most women crave drama.
Okay.
They like when something's going on,
right.
when there's change, when there's something that's not the norm. And for a lot of guys, it's different, right? Because some guys love drama as well. But like I said, it's different for everyone. I just think that most men appreciate peace more than anything. And then you come to, second, third place for me would be when I come home from work, sex would be great. Let me get some peace, pussy, and then some food.
Right.
That'd be the greatest thing.
The PPF.
Yeah, the PPF, dude. And I don't think that's too much to ask.
Yeah.
You're staying at home all day, taking care of
Right.
the kids.
So
It's and let's be honest. Taking care of the kids is a full-time job. Not really. Honestly, it'd be very easy for me to stay home and take care of the kids. And if you were to say to me, hey, I'll be the earner, I make $200K as a woman, Roman, you take care of the kids. Hell yeah, I'll take care of the kids, dude. That is the easiest, dude. Is that it? You need me to do anything else?
Yeah.
I'll cook, clean, take care of the kids. I'll rub your feet when you get home from work.
You want to give me the easy life?
Bro,
I'll do it.
Seriously.
See? But the thing is, when men say that, like, it turns women off. I don't want a man that just stay home. I want a man that works. We can want that all we want, but by the end of the day, it's not realistic as a man. So, I kind of throw that idea out of my head. Like, by the end of the day, I'm always going to be thinking, like, I'm going to be the provider. You're going to look onto me. And it doesn't apply to every single person's life, but on average, most women make about, like, 40K.
Yeah.
Men make about, like, I don't remember the number, but around, like, 60K.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you live in California or you live in, like, New York, how the fuck are you, as an average woman, going to live with just, like, 40K? And then, especially
if you want
like,
kids.
I'm not trying to be mean.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you look at the statistics, like, I can barely live with how much I make, where I'm at. Like, fuck this.
Yeah. Gotta love the society, man.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
I don't know, man. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot to, and especially for younger people, man. I grew up in the 90s where things were very simple. We didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
You
want to talk to Becky?
hit her up on.
I'm on the internet right now.
Hit her up on AIM.
Yeah.
What's your
MSN?
AIM? What's your screen name?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You want to connect to the internet? Hold on. Let me.
I'm on the phone right now. You can't be on the internet.
Get the fuck off the. Get the fuck off the phone. I'm trying to use the internet. Those are the good days, man.
Times, man.
Things were simple.
Right.
Now it's not necessarily about complaining about how things are. It's just understanding and adapting, making the best out of kind of how fucked up everything is now.
Right.
But there's happiness in all of it. There's peace that can be had. I just think that it's up to both men and women to really be clear and communicate what they're looking for.
Exactly.
And that's how you make. I just think that everything is better when there's better communication. That's the biggest thing. There's no communication nowadays because we don't want to have that awkward conversation with our boyfriend or girlfriend. Those awkward conversations need to happen or they'll just bottle up and explode.
Yeah. And that applies to like just everywhere in life, man. When it comes to family, when it comes to work, like that's like a core component skill. Right? So just to wrap it up, I just got one more question before we call it a day. Like I'm asking from an opinion wise. Like,
of course.
You don't have to state fact, but just your opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think women want? Like an average woman, not these girls from LA, not these girls from Miami and all this. Like an average woman, somebody you can find like off the street. What do you think these women want? Because like the whole point of this podcast is I want to like leave it out in the open. Like, okay, look, this is what men want. This is what women want. Now, eventually, I'll grab a girl in here and just get her from a woman's perspective what they think. So like, what do you think women are looking for in a relationship?
It's tough, man. If I knew that, I'd be successful in relationships myself. But
it's just an opinion.
No, I think that in general, women do want love, right? They like the idea of love. They're looking for something, real. I just don't think that they go about it the right ways, and I blame parenting. Yeah, to be honest,
I blame it too.
I blame primarily the mother.
I agree.
It's your mother's job to prepare you for womanhood,
right,
and to prepare you for how to be a lady.
Exactly, and it goes back to the example that you were using with your aunt. Your aunt passed down the great idea of like how to be a woman, and like as a man, you should be able to do the same thing as just pass down to your kid.
And it works.
And when there are more single mothers than there are single fathers. Like without even having to think, that's common sense.
Ask yourself why.
Right, and what end up happening is these single mothers, they are teaching the values of like, you don't need no man. Men are bad.
Independence.
Independence. You should be independent. And then like these toxic ideas are producing these women that think that like men are assholes and like they only want because of like what their mother trained them, and like as a mother like that, they don't train their kid to be more feminine. They don't train them like, hey, this is how you keep a man. This is how you cook and all this stuff. Like none of these values are being passed down correctly. And I'm like, maybe I'm wrong to say this, but I feel like this generation kind of lost the idea of passing down the right values, and this is where we should start.
And you can blame the culture because I want to say I do believe it's the culture because it's unheard of kind of in Middle Eastern culture to kind of act, I guess, like this, to kind of have so much feistiness, I guess.
Right.
But I think women want, they are looking for love.
Right.
They're looking for as always, they're looking for security, right? But I think that they need to themselves vet men, right? You need to understand where both heads are at if you're looking for something serious. And if you're not looking for something serious, let the guy know.
Right.
Hey, I'm just looking to have fun, maybe have a good time. But at the same time, I don't think that that's, it's very practical to assume that a woman just goes up to a guy, hey, I'm just looking to fuck. How about you? It's not very practical because I think at the end of the day, most women use their purity as a way of kind of attracting men.
Right.
But it's never a topic of conversation, if I can make that easier. What do I think women want? Yeah, love, I think all women have the desire to be mothers because I think being a mother for a lot of women gives them purpose.
See, but that's the crazy thing. Like when you say that to a 20-year-old, where they don't think about
to a 20-year-old, no. Right. Well, in this culture,
right?
No.
So what ended up happening is people have the idea that like, I don't want to be a mother when they're 30 or when they're 40. By that age, like, you can't be a mother anymore because of like your biology.
By 35, it becomes high risk pregnancy.
42, from what I was told.
Oh,
yeah,
35.
35.
So it's good. 35 like between 35 and 42. High risk pregnancy. Yeah. But then you have a lot of women fighting against the clock, right? Can you secure a man early enough, right, to where you can actually have and achieve all your goals and dreams and have kids and have that perfect Disney fairy tale of a life
Right.
that you've always wanted, and
So,
it's possible.
I
But
don't know if this is, okay, I don't know if this is right for me to say, but like as a woman, you can achieve all that with a man. You don't have to you don't have to achieve all this before you're married. A man is there to support you as much as you are there to support him. Am I wrong to say that?
no. I mean,
Right.
it's just it sounds so simple, right? But it's so difficult to find.
Right.
Only because I think that there's just so many options in this culture. There's so many opportunities for wanting more, cheating.
Yep.
There's just so many that we as humans are. Lust becomes a very big aspect of it. Giving into instinct and I want it now.
Right.
I want it my way. I deserve this. You don't deserve shit, honestly.
Right.
Like most people don't deserve it, but it's putting yourself in a position to where you can be happy.
Right.
And if you're not in that position, you know currently, don't go looking to start something new. Don't go looking for a relationship until, in my opinion, you've had therapy or you've got your baggage out of the way and you're actually you know what you want.
Right.
I think a lot of people go into a relationship not knowing what they want.
Right.
They either take it out on the other person, and it makes it very difficult to find healthy, long-lasting relationships. Rather, you have 1-2 year ordeals to where, you're having sex, you're arguing. It's great. It's not great. It's great. And then it's just there's too many avenues for things not working. And if you are looking for something long term, I don't have any qualms with a woman in her young 20s getting married. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. In fact, that actually sets you up for more success because. But then you come into a woman not feeling like, I want to live, hot girl summer. I want to have fun with my friends. I want to enjoy all these experiences. But understand when you enjoy all those experiences and you become a little more promiscuous.
Right.
You disqualify yourself from something genuine and real.
Right. Something that will last long.
Exactly. Something that would last longer and benefit you more in the long run.
Right.
But hey, man, what do I know? I'm not a woman.
I mean, but
I can just give my input from the male perspective.
See,
so.
but that's what's important. We're opening for the discussion, and that's exactly what I wanted. And thank you for answering these questions because that's the whole point. If a man hears this, okay, this is what an average man thinking. If a woman hears this, okay, that's what a man's thinking as well. And maybe you can actually have a conversation. We're not trying to attack one another.
Yeah,
we're just giving each other perspective. And I think this is healthy. I want us as a society to move forward and not condemning each other for what we truly want, and help each other build a community, build society into a better than what it is now. Because right now, I don't like where we're heading at.
I want couples. I want relationships that are lasting long.
I want it to work. I don't want to berate women. I don't want to berate
I don't
men
like
either.
that divorce rates are 80%.
That's
crazy. That means it's not really,
And what the hell is the point of marriage, right? But just to wrap it up, thank you, Roman, for being
glad to be
guest,
here.
Man.
Thank you. This is
wonderful. Great, dude. I got what I wanted to say, and this was very productive.
Yeah,
right.
I think so. My first podcast too, so I hope I do.
Yeah, I really do hope you come back, man, because this is great. This is the kind of conversation that I feel gets the ball rolling to an extent,
Yeah.
So
glad to be here. Thanks again.
Yeah. And I'm hoping you come back soon.
You got it, man. I hope so too.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
with all that being said, thank you everyone for listening to Tony's podcast. This is just an average Asian guy and average
Persian guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Afghanistan. I know it's
Iran,
not Afghanistan.
Persian, same thing.
Yeah, you're right. Tomato, potato, same shit.
Right.
But thank you guys for listening in to Average Man. We're just voicing our opinion. If you like what you hear, please feel free to hit the like button below, hit subscribe. I upload content almost every single Thursday, or at least I'm trying to. Also, I recently introduced a new Discord server, so it'll be in the description below. If you click the Discord, you're more than welcome to post what topic you want us to talk about, and then I'll look into it. I definitely want to hear feedback from other people and what you guys have to say. So with that being said, peace.
Peace.